a man's greatest thrill.
They tried and failed.
They tried and died.
You're dealing with the creme de la creme.
You want me to start, man?
Yeah, do you want to start with Sand?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Sneds was saying there, he gave me Brutus Sand to review. This was released on the 27th of April 2020. It's approximately 3 minutes and 32 seconds long. And again, as Sneds was saying there, it's the latest offering from Belgian-based trio, which consists of lead vocalist and drummer. Bear with me, guys. I'm probably going to mispronounce all of these guys' names, but the lead vocalist and drummer's name is Stephanie Manuerts, bassist Peter Mulders, this is where I'm going to fall down, guitarist Stinge van Hogarten. Heard you describe them as a kind of shoegaze band.
Yeah, I mean, there's elements of shoegaze in there, and I mean, if people don't know what the fuck shoegaze is, it's just like sort of spacious, ethereal sounding music with loads of effects in the guitars. And the term actually comes from guitarists in the bands like staring at their feet, like staring at effects pedals. So that's what that means.
Aye, absolutely. Online, they're described as playing a kind of combination of prog rock, hardcore, and math rock. With regards to the song itself, it kind of immediately bursts into what I've described as a cacophony of this kind of desperate and frenzied guitar sounds. This is coupled with a kind of pounding drum beat. Stephanie Manuer's vocals come in around the 14-second mark with equally matched ferocity and intensity. This is shortly followed up by a really infectious bridge, or breakdown as it were, in the song, where you get this kind of really catchy drum rhythm that I don't think would be all that out of place in the likes of kind of like a pop punk song. And you get this kind of sliding guitar along with that as well. And again, the kind of lead vocalist comes in with a much more somber and refined vocal delivery this time, with her singing what sounds kind of like oohs and ahs. I'm not 100% sure. And it's almost somewhat of a kind of prelude to a major tonal change that you get later on in the song, which comes in around the kind of 119, 120 mark. This kind of harps back to what you were saying there, Sneds. It's around about this time where you get the guitar takes on what I've described as a more airy, ethereal sound. The drums take a bit of a backseat, and Stephanie Manuert's vocals really kind of pull focus during this time, allowing her to show the depth and range in her vocals and kind of voice. I've said this really builds into a really big part of the song for me. The highlight of which takes place around about the kind of 240, 241 mark, where the lead vocalist really kind of vamps up an octave and belts out what sounds again like kind of oohs, maybe possibly like la la las. I'm not 100% sure. But for me, it's the guitar in these moments that really show. Van Gorten picks out what I suppose is the melody of the song that kind of runs throughout the course of the song itself, and almost what I've described as a kind of lead guitar type style. And I suppose you could almost call it a kind of mini guitar solo. But these two things really coalesce really well into a truly fantastic wee hook that you can't help but kind of fall in love with. And I just those were standout moments for me in the song that I really liked. As for the kind of lyrical content, I've really no idea what they're singing about, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. Admittedly, I didn't really enjoy the song to begin with, and I think that's only because I just had it on the background. I was kind of doing other things around about the house, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. But my initial feelings on the song was that it kind of, I don't know, it lacked a bit of a bite. There was something I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I know I've almost kind of contradicted myself by saying that, because I've kind of described the lead vocalist's lyrics or sort of vocal delivery as being quite ferocious and intense. But I think that's only because I wasn't really paying attention to it. If you really sit down and kind of take the time to appreciate it, it's a cracker of a song, and I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
As for a rating, I would say that I've rated it strong 7, possible 8 out of 10. I wasn't familiar with any of the rest of their stuff, but I have since went back and listened to it, and I've really enjoyed it. I recognise their logo because I know that you've got their pin or a patch or something that you wear.
Yeah, I've got a Brutus pin on my jacket.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fair your sort of 7 or 8 rating, because Sand is like it's like a previously unreleased track, which I think is from the Nest Sessions, which is
right.
Nest is their album that came out last year.
Right.
And so the sort of ethereal crooning guitar and bass grunt sound, and those powerful vocals from Stephanie Manertz are like a signature of Brutus's sound.
Right.
So I really like this song as well, but I think the fact that it was left off of Nest probably speaks for itself, and that it's maybe not as strong as some of the songs on that album, but I do really enjoy it. I mean, the reason I wanted to talk about this song was kind of just to talk about Brutus, because
right.
Nest, I absolutely love that album. And I was kind of turned on to the band from they released a video, essentially a live video for the song War, which is just an amazing track on Nest, and a lot of that is down to the lead vocals, and that's kind of what hooked me into Brutus. But the rest of that album's absolutely fantastic, and I think if you like Sand, then you're gonna like Nest even more. So I think if you do like Sand, it's worth going out and check that album. And there's particular highlights like War, Django, Cemetery, and Techno on that album that are all really great tracks. But I mean, the whole album is great. But yeah, definitely a band worth checking out. And I've actually reviewed that album on the website, so there's a full review on theheadscratcher.com, and there's a review of their live show from Broadcast in Glasgow, which I went to see shortly after the album came out, which is where I got that pin.
All right.
So those are worth checking out if you're interested.
And just to interest, what is that? Like, obviously that's a logo, isn't it? Is it a logo?
I don't know what it is. It's just a weird. I don't know if it says Brutus or says Nest. It's pretty difficult to read. But yeah. It's
just squiggly lines, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's just squiggly lines.
That's all it is. Because I remember looking at it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because I remember having, like, years ago, I used to have a kind of denim jacket that had a black and silver Smashing Pumpkins pin on it, and because I remember thinking, like, the first squiggle could be an S, and I'm like, is that maybe what it is? But no.
Yeah, I think I tried to decipher it as well at one point, but I don't think there's any point in trying. But it's just a great band, and
it is what it is. Yeah.
So I mean, I think I'd agree with your rating, like a strong 7 for that, and with the caveat that you should definitely go and listen to the album after you've heard Sand. So that was Sand by Brutus.
We don't finish